So, um, today is class 6 of the Fundamentals of Spirituality class, which I know some of you have been here for, I think, every single one. Some of you have been here for a few of them. But either way, it's class 6. I have 2 more classes coming, which next month is getting familiar with the energy in and around our bodies, introduction to energy healing, and how to use pendulums and crystals for healing and receiving answers from spirit. I think that one is, I thought this week's was a long title, but that one's a really long title. So then the last one is introduction to mediumship and psychic abilities. So 2 more classes left, and then after that, I should be just starting to rerun it. If you already came, I mean, you don't need to come again, but you can always stop on in, and I do a lot of this off of the top of my head. I have my talking points, but I just kind of go off of the top of my head, so you might learn something new next round if you want to join, but it should just continue on. Excuse me. And I'm thinking about if I want to, or if I want to just do it live next time around. I don't know which one I'm going to do, but I know a lot of people like to do it in person, so maybe I'll take a poll or something, who knows. But today I do have a lot with this topic, so I'm going to try to get through it all and stay on track, I guess. So today we're talking about how to manifest, how to heal our trauma within ourselves and initiate inner healing. So basically, when it comes to manifesting, I just want to kind of touch on how I manifest. And I mean, there's a lot of different techniques out there on how to manifest, and I think finding whichever one feels best for you is most important. But I do think that when you get like the mainstream manifestation stuff out a lot of aspects of it, such as needing to heal and needing to actually look at your traumas, your cycles, your limited beliefs, and all that kind of stuff, which is why I have both of these classes together. Alright, so I'm just going to jump on into manifestation first, or manifesting first, and I just want to say, when we are manifesting, a lot of the times we go in and we visualize whatever it is that we're trying to manifest. And what I want everyone to understand is that with our manifesting, when we're going in and we're seeing that vision, it's more so about the feelings that we get with that vision. It's not necessarily what we're seeing and what we're kind of projecting out. It's more so what we are feeling in those moments. So Joe Dispenza, if anyone hasn't read any of his books, I think it's called like Becoming Supernatural or something along those lines, but he has a really good book that talks a lot about this kind of thing. It's really good info, but basically when you're trying to manifest, you want to go in and feel those emotions and those frequencies, and what ends up happening is when we're manifesting that frequency and not the vision. So while we may see ourselves on a beach with our family, not having to work, and we're just free and everything's great, it might come a completely different way, because what you're really manifesting is the feeling of freedom, and the feeling and the frequency of financial freedom, of spending time and having time and not having to rush around. And you're projecting that kind of frequency, and that's what you're going to get back, basically. So just understanding that, and I'm going to touch more on that in just a few, but I just want to kind of, I guess, just make that clear. Alright, so when we manifest, it is important to understand that when we set out that manifestation, just understand that the universe is going to give us whatever it is that we need. So while we may try to manifest winning the lottery, it may not be in your best interest to win the lottery. And the reason for that is you have so much stuff that you need to learn that you're going to learn by working your regular job or moving to another job or whatever it may be. But understand why if you're trying to manifest, let's just say a job or something, and then things start to go a little bit different and things start to take a turn, well, just understand that you may be being drawn to something better than what it is that you're trying to manifest. Because a lot of the times we try to manifest our own thing or whatever we are thinking we want to manifest, but the universe has a much bigger plan, and the universe allows us to get to that plan. We just have to kind of get out of the way. And when we're in manifestation mode, the main thing is we want to detach from the outcome of that manifestation, and we want to basically follow any urges and follow where we feel led, I guess. So what I always do if I'm wanting to manifest is I will say that I want to manifest whatever it is. And then at that point, I say, Spirit guides, God, universe, I'm trusting you that you are going to manifest this or something much better, whatever it is meant for me. And then I detach from the outcome and I just allow everything to unfold the way that it does. But I always, in the back of my mind, understand that everything in my life is happening because I'm trying to get to that manifestation that I had in mind. So I trust the universe. I don't cling to it. I keep it in the back of my mind, understanding that there is this manifestation that I'm wanting, and there is this thing that I'm trying to get to, but I'm going to detach and allow it to happen. And then the urges, it's once you set that manifestation out there, you start getting urges, and those urges can be weird and random things. Like you may say, I want to get a job at I don't know, as a doctor or something, and then you end up working at UDF or something, and it's like completely different paths. But if you're following those urges and you go to UDF and then you end up meeting someone there that leads you into some other kind of career and you're way more happy, the universe knows that you weren't going to be happy as a doctor, but you're going to be happy as this new career that it led you to. So that's where a lot of people get confused when they think that everything's going to be related to the thing that they're trying to manifest, but it ends up being completely different. Sometimes it ends up being completely different, and we end up moving in and out of random situations to get us wherever it is that we need to go. All right, so when we can manifest like particular in life, such as I want to manifest a new car. So when you do that, you're going to go into manifestation mode. I'm going to talk about how I manifest in a second. But you go into manifestation mode and things start to unfold for you getting that car. I remember a long time ago, I was driving down the road and there was this cool car that came rode in front of us, and I was like, man, that's a really cool car. What kind of car is it? And I had no clue, but in the back, and so I started looking up those cars, and there was a twin turbo model and there was a regular model, a non-turbo model, and I was like, I have to have the twin turbo. I want this car, and I I didn't even know the word manifest at that time, to be honest, but I was like, I want to manifest this car basically. And things ended up matching up effortlessly for me to get this car. Like my dad ended up paying child support, so my mom got like $5,000 and she like split it with me or gave me most of it, and then I just happened to get my taxes back at the same, like just weird things started aligning. And then before I knew it, I had the $6,000 I needed to go get this 1990 car, and so I did, and that car led me into some of the best relationships of my life and some of the best experiences of my life, and taught me so much, because I hung out in the car scene with a bunch of people, and it was just adventures with that car I never could have done without it, basically. So that was manifesting that particular thing. But you can also, and I want to make sure this is where I'm going, Okay, yeah. So we can also manifest like energy within ourselves. So we can say, man, my energy's feeling really bogged down. I'm wanting to manifest having more energy. And what happens then is you'll be led to eat different things, or you may feel this sudden urge. Our spirit guides have, or the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, has a good way of giving us this big, I want my energy to feel better. Well, then all of a sudden you start feeling like you need to eat healthier. The universe will give you this big boost in the beginning to get you started, and then they back off. And then that's when our drive starts to slowly slip away because we're not keeping up on that. But you say, I want my energy to be, I want to have more energy because I'm feeling sluggish. Well, you may be led to eat healthier. You may be led to work out. And some of us overthink these things, meaning if I say, man, my energy's feeling really sluggish, one of the first things that come in my mind is I feel like I need to exercise or I need to get moving or something because it makes sense. I want my guides to bring it to me and tell me what it is. But that's your guides, that's yourself, that's the universe, that's you telling you what you need to do to bring your energy up. Honestly, my energy was feeling kind of sluggish a few months ago, and I was doing energy work and it just wasn't bringing it up to where I needed it to be. And then I asked, I was like, what do I need to do? And that is what they brought up to me, is you need to exercise in the morning and you'll have tons of energy. And I'm like, all right. So I started exercising, and whenever I exercise, and I'm not going to act like I do it every morning because I don't, but whenever I exercise, the whole day I have so much more energy. My kids are like, let's go jump on a trampoline, and instead of being like, all right, yeah, let's go, and I'm like, oh. But I'm like, all right, let's go. Let me show you this backflip I can do or whatever, and it's just, it works. So you can manifest different things. You can manifest yourself into a different situation in life. If you're just like, I am not happy in the situation that I'm in right now, and I don't even know what I need to change, but God, universe, spirit guides, can you show me and help me get to a different place in life that brings me blah, 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 joy, it brings me happiness, brings me more free time, brings me more money, whatever it is that you need, lay it all out there and the universe will start to sort it out for you. While I'm kind of here and I'm thinking about this, I made the mistake of, in the beginning of my journey, I would say, all right, I want to be a really good psychic reader. That's what I want to do. I want to do readings for people and all this stuff. And then it would take off, and I would start doing all these amazing psychic readings, and it would be really good. But then I would be like, oh man, I just learned how to do mediumship. Now I want to do mediumship too. And then I would go do mediumship. And then the universe was like, oh, whoa, hold on. You were just saying you want to do psychic readings, but all right, so now we'll bring some energy in the mediumship. So that would start going good. And then I would start doing psychic readings again. Then I would do energy healing. And I was just like all over the place. And my manifestations working. And they were like, dude, we're confused. Like, we don't know what you want at this point because you're asking for this, then you're going to this, and you're doing this. And my teacher also told me the same thing. She said, Josh, be careful. That my teacher at the time, she said, be careful of dabbling in all these different energies because you're where you put your energy, that's where your energy is going to go, and you're going to confuse the universe and blah, blah, blah. And then the universe was like, dude, you're confusing me. So I did. And I honestly can't even explain how powerful that was, realizing in life, that where you put your energy is where your energy, like where you align your energy, that's where your energy, it's all going to unfold, I guess. For example, if I play softball, I do jiu-jitsu, I played pickleball, all those kind of things. And as I was playing those, one thing I realized that helps to be better in that sport is bringing all of your energy to you. And that can be as simple as you're worried about what the people in the stands are going to think if you hit a foul ball or if you hit a home run, or how cool it would be if your kid sees you get a triple or whatever it may be. All that can be running through your mind, and when that's running through your mind, your energy is not whole and your energy is there. But if you bring all of your energy into you and you say, I am focused on hitting this ball, you're going to focus all of your energy and you're going to hit the ball good 9 times out of 10. And it's the same way with manifestation. All right. One thing I do often say is that, the universe is not going to let us manifest something that is not right for us. Now, don't get that confused with the fact that because we can manifest negative things in life, we 100% can, but if we are saying being in a relationship with this person here, and you're just like, I want to manifest that, I want to be with them, whatever, and it just never works, that's because it was not meant. That just was not meant for you. Same with the lottery thing. It's not meant for you. So you cannot manifest things that are not meant for you. So just understand, when you try to manifest something and it doesn't work, it's not because you're manifesting wrong. It's because it's not meant for you. And if you pay attention, you're most likely going to realize that you were sent. Actually working out better now. And yeah, so just try to always understand that. And then on the flip side, as I kind of already mentioned, you can manifest things that are not good for you. So complaining. They say complaining is like praying. Complaining or like worrying about things is like praying for the things that you don't want to happen, basically. If I'm always worried that something's going to happen, I could manifest that into my energy. It makes it a little bit more probable. So in my life, if let's just say X is something that could happen, but there's only a 0.05% in my life that it could happen, but then I'm worried about that happening for whatever reason, it takes that 0.05 up to maybe 0.5 or something, or maybe a 2.5 that it could happen. It's not a big percentage, but it is making it more of a probability, basically. So just understanding that we can manifest negative things. And when we look at that and we go into the healing portion of it as well, which we're not yet, but when we go into that, we need to understand that when we try to manifest things, sometimes it's going through a filter or a limited belief, or it's going through a trauma, or it's going through a cycle, or something along those lines that is being held within our energy. And when we send it out through that, the law of attraction brings that right back. So if we're trying to manifest, let's just say, money, abundance with money, but you have a limited belief within yourself that you're never going to have enough money, or that you don't have enough money, you're not going to be able to manifest that money. But what will happen is you say, I'm wanting to manifest being abundant in money, and you'll be led to healing a certain part of yourself or getting rid of a certain thing. And the example that I always give that most of you might have heard is basically I always had an issue with money. I was trying to fix my money issues. I was sent into a past life, healed some things there, and then I was sent into my inner child and did some work there. My inner child ended up showing me that my mom telling me that we didn't have enough money as a kid my whole life, it made me have a limited belief that I'm never going to have enough money. So I could be given $10,000 and that stuff would be gone in 6 months, and I wouldn't know where the heck it went. But that's just, I never had enough money. So I healed that, and then manifesting that money came true. But I tried to manifest money for years, and it never worked out until I realized that I need to look at these healing aspects of things. So, allowing yourself to heal is an important part of that. So, law of attraction, anything that you give out is what you're going to get back. So if you're always a good person and always trying to do good things, you're going to get good person and good things being brought back to you. If you're a crappy person, you're going to get crappy things brought back to you. So the law of attraction works really, really well that way. So pay attention to where you're at with that, because if you're trying to manifest I don't know, happy things that happen to you in life, and you're doing nothing but giving out not happy stuff, you're not going to get it. All right, so and the thing I want to say with that is, if you learn how the law of attraction works and your what I call energy language works, you can become such a good manifester of things. But you have to find a balance of flow and allowing and understanding that the universe knows what's best for you. And I know that makes it sound like everything's out of your control, but it's not. Everything's in your... But you just have to understand that the universe knows so much more than you do. So it's best to just allow the universe to manifest whatever it is that's best for you, after you set out that manifestation of, I want this. But in the grand scheme of things, the universe is already trying to give you everything that you want. The universe wants you to be happy. It wants you to have everything that you need and want. But we get in the way. And then also some of those things aren't good for us. And if we had them, it wouldn't be good. Whereas if I won the lottery, I would probably be in Florida on a beach right now, just hanging out and not here in my center teaching and doing all the stuff that I do, and helping the people I do in real estate and just all of that. It wouldn't happen, most likely. So that's just why it's not meant for me to win it right now. Maybe one day. I don't even play the lottery. I always say, maybe one day I'll win the lottery, but I don't even play it. So I'm not going to win if I don't play it. So, all right. I wanted to say, once you learn your energy language, though, and how you flow and how manifesting works. So there's a story, and I don't know if I've told this in a while, so you all might not have heard this. But with real estate, I was a real estate agent. I am a real estate agent. My wife and I are a team, but it was just me at this time. And I was like, I quit my job at Procter & Gamble. I was delivering newspapers, and I was like, I'm going to make real estate work. And I got like 6 to 9 to 14, I don't know. I had a lot of deals on the board. And at this time, I had a little board that I wrote all my deals down. I had all these deals, and I was like, dude, this is amazing. So right now is a time that I need to push, and I need to go forward, and I need to start cold calling. I need to start door knocking and sending out flyers, and I started doing all of that. And within like a day or two, all of my deals fell through. Literally every single deal on the board fell through, which is unheard of. I had never, still to this day, that hasn't happened to me. And I was like, what the heck? I thought I was doing the right thing. And I was like, you know what? I give up. I'm done. I'm not even going to do real estate anymore. And then that night, I had 4 people call me asking me to to help them buy a house. And then people started using me again and asking me. And I was like, all right, now's the time to push again. And I pushed again. And I might have had like 6 deals, and probably like 4 of those deals fell through. And I was like, what the heck? And I was like, I surrender. I give up again. And then everything went good again. So what that led me to understand about my energy is that I'm not a pusher. If I push, my energy is too intense, and it blocks the heck out of everything that I'm trying to do. I have to get in a state of receiving. So if I allow for the things to come, it happens. So I said, all right, I want real estate to become amazing, and I want to make a lot of money in real estate so I can afford to do my healings and everything for free. That was my intent at the time. And then I realized that's not sustainable at all. But that was my goal. And then like a few weeks later, my wife, I set that out, and I said, all right, now I'm in receiving, but I'm not going to put any effort towards promoting and all this stuff. A few weeks later, my wife was like, I keep having this thought of getting my real estate license. And I was like, do it if you want to. So she did. And then I knew as soon as she did, everything was going to take off. And she did. And everything did take off, and we made a ton of money in real estate. Everything's been great ever since then. But that's how it manifested. That's how it worked. That's how it happened. I had to learn my energy language on how I work with the law of attraction. If I push, it doesn't happen. If I let go and allow it to happen, it happens. So just have to understand that. Like with this place, I was in a pushing mode for a second because I knew I was supposed to get a new center. And I was looking, and there was nothing out there. I was going around to all these places, and it just wasn't working out. And I said, you know what? I'm done. And I said, universe, if this is what's meant to happen, I'm done looking because it's stressing me out. I said, just bring it to me. And then the next day, I woke up and I opened Facebook, and the first post on there was, is anyone on here looking for, it was one of my realtor friends. She said, is anybody on here looking for an office space in the Bridgetown area? And that's where I lived. And I was like, that's exactly where I'm looking. And it was 3 minutes from my house. Perfect thing. And I got it. And I said at that time, I said, if I have the exact amount to pay a whole year of rent in my saving, if I have enough in my savings account to pay for a whole year of rent, I will rent this space out. And I calculated how much rent would be, and it was the exact amount, like literally the exact, it might have been some change off, but it was the exact amount that I had in my bank account to the dollar. And I was like, all right, well, this is what it's meant to be. So anyway, that is kind of just, I tell the stories to try to help you understand how the manifestation process can work. So understanding your energy language. Excuse me. All right, so on a side note to all that, be mindful of what you're trying to manifest and make sure it's what you want, because there's a lot of times we try to manifest things that we think we want, and we get there and we're like, well, this sucks. I want this now, and then it's not what you wanted. So when we go to manifest, I highly recommend that you sit back and you sit still for a second, and you ask yourself, what does this job look like? And you allow yourself to play this job out for like 5 or 10 years, and you just see yourself going into work every day. You might be able to just fast forward a few months at a time or something, and you see yourself and you will get to a point, for example, with auto mechanic. I was an auto mechanic for a while, and I was working there, and I was like, it's a job, whatever. And then I was like, but is this what I really want to do? And I played it out in all the things, like the guy limping across the shop because his knee hurts, or the guy that has to take 100 aspirin a day because his back hurts. People's hands are swollen because they're always, and I was like, this isn't what I want. This isn't where I want to be when I grow up. And then I changed that. And but that's what you need to do when you're manifesting, is say, all right, this is what I feel like I want to manifest. What does this look like in 10 years? And you play yourself through it, and pay attention to the red flags because they're valid and they're true. And then from there you can say, all right, this isn't what I want. Or you can say, that is a negative side to this job, but I do feel like I would be okay with that negative side to this job, or I can do this to help it. But the universe, yourself, your intuition is going to show you all sides of this job. It's going to show you the good, the bad, and you get to decide on, is this what you want to actually do? Or any other situation. It doesn't have to be a job, but whatever you want to do. For me, in my spiritual awakening period, it was all about job. Like, it was literally just job. I have to find the job. And then I realized the job will find me. I don't need to find the job. But anyway, be clear in your intent on what you want for this manifestation. All right, place, I already talked about that. So then, all right, I have touched on this. I'm going to touch on it just a little bit more. It does take time for manifestations to happen. Now, sometimes you can say, I want to manifest this, and literally the next day it happens, and that can happen. But it can also take years to happen, and you have to be okay with either one, and that's a very hard thing to do. But we do have to understand that manifesting is... it is going to bring you to healing your traumas. It's going to bring you to healing your blockages, your limited beliefs, and it's going to bring you to healing anything else that you need to work on and fix within your body and your energy. And the reason for that, like I already mentioned, is because you're not going to be able to manifest from a filter of, I don't believe that I have enough money, so I need money, or I want money now. So just understand that you're going to be led, you could be led to healing, and you have to be okay with that, and you have to accept that and move forward with that. All right, so I try to hold in a yawn and it just won't leave me. All right, so having complete faith in the universe and trusting that it's actually going to happen is seriously a very big part of this. When we set that manifestation out, we have to be happy, excited, and just knowing that it's going to happen. I told my wife for probably 2 years, I said, I just know that we are going to be able to pay off all of our debt. I just know that we are going to have all the free time that we need. I just know that we're going to be able to live the life that we've always wanted to live. I just don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm allowing it to happen in whatever way it needs to happen. And I felt a sense of excitement about it. Like I just knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to come as if it was already there. And you want to keep that trust and that faith there. And you will get to where you're supposed to go as long as you're having that faith and that trust and that detachment from the outcome. All right, so I did touch on this. Make sure that you're not placing your energy in too many different places because you will confuse the heck out of the universe. There are a lot of people, and like I said, including myself, a lot of people that put their energy in way too many spaces and they don't understand why they are stuck in one place in life, or they're not moving forward, or they're not feeling fulfilled, or whatever it is, or their energy's not feeling whole. And that's because you have to manifest one thing at a time, and sometimes that sucks because it takes a long time to manifest one thing, but you have to get used to just manifesting one or maybe two things. It just depends on the energy that is being held behind it. All right, so I'm just going to move into how I manifest, and then we'll move into the whole trauma and all that stuff. All right, so the first thing that I do is, and I recommend you doing, is realizing what it is that you want and what you want to manifest. And from that space, you are going to, like I said just a second ago, and I'm just going through my notes here to make sure I'm staying on track, you're going to play it through, just like I mentioned. Make sure that it is what you want, and do that for like a day or two. Like once a day, just play it out and see how it feels. You can even say, this whole week I'm going to get up and mentally go to work at this job that I'm wanting, or I'm going to mentally get into this relationship that I'm saying I want, and I'm going to allow myself to see how it feels. That will give you a huge jump start on manifesting and understanding on if it's what you want to do. Then I write out in my journal what I'm wanting to manifest. And when I was doing this, a lot of the manifesting, I actually had a notebook, and in this notebook I put, I think I actually still have it in my wallet, or I put it somewhere else. I don't remember where it's at because I did clean up my wallet. So the story is basically I wrote down like up to eight things, I think, that I wanted to manifest in life, and that was like 4, 5, 6 years ago. And I folded that paper up and I put it in my wallet, and every day at lunch at my job I would go out in my car, I would eat my lunch, and then I would pick this paper out of my wallet and I would read through them and I would visualize it and feel good about it and just feel as if it's already happened. Then I put it in my wallet. After like 2 weeks I forgot all about it and it just sat in my wallet, and that was the end of it. Like 6 months ago, maybe not even that, I got a new wallet, and I was cleaning out my other wallet, and I pulled that piece of paper out and I was reading it, and it was like mind-blowing. Out of those 8 things, there was maybe 2 things that hasn't came true yet, but all of the other things, I'm living it right now. And it was just absolutely insane to me to see that written down, and I completely detached from it, and then now I'm actually living all of that. And yeah, it was insane. But anyway, write down whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest, and kind of allow your energy to go into that writing. Like really feel yourself writing it down. Alright, so then, go into a meditative state. And when you go into a meditative state, what I mean by this is closing your eyes, taking a few breaths, and just feeling your energy coming to you. Your energy isn't at your job. Your energy isn't at your friend. It's not with your kids. It's not with your car. It is with you. And then you state your purpose for the meditation and what in that you're wanting to manifest. So I go into my meditation and I say the purpose of this meditation is to manifest. And I ask for any of my guides or anyone that needs to come down to help me with this, realizing this manifestation, to come down and assist me with this manifestation. And you want to say, this meditation is to manifest blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is that you are wanting to manifest, you want to state that. Then you go into visualizing it. And when you're visualizing it, don't leave any details out. Like, really allow yourself to go into this visualization, and you're seeing everything. You're just seeing everything happening that needs to happen, down to like you're grabbing your water and you're putting the straw up to your mouth and you're drinking it. And when you're in this manifestation, all right, so that's where I'm going next. So when you're in this manifestation, you are going to want yourself to feel these emotions. I already mentioned this, but I want you to, if you're sitting on the beach, I want you to feel how free you are. I want you to feel how you aren't worried about money. I want you to feel how you don't worry about your job that you have to go to tomorrow, and you're not worried about the meeting that you have to go to, and you're enjoying life. I want you to feel into all of that. So once you do that, you feel fully in the moment, and then you bring, and this is, Joe Dispenza teaches a lot about this, and you bring your elevated emotions into that space. So meaning you bring that happiness, that joy, the just all of the good feelings, you bring it in there and you allow yourself to feel it in this situation. Then you express what it is that you want, and you send it off to the universe with trust that it's going to be done. And then you completely let go of that manifestation or detach from it, and you get excited that it's almost as if it's already happened. Because if you look at time, it's not linear. Like, there isn't a past, there's no future, there's no present. Well, I guess all we have is the present, but it's all happening at once. So in a sense, that manifestation has already happened, and you're already living that manifestation. You just have to allow yourself to catch up to it, I guess, and go over to that timeline. All right, so then every day after that, find a few moments of your day to manifest that and feel good about it. So you're going into meditation, just a slight meditation, and you go into visualizing that and feeling those feel good feelings, and then you let go of it again. The biggest thing, and I don't know if that's where I'm going yet. So the biggest thing with that is, don't get caught up on, after you've sent this energy away and you detach from it, you do not want to get caught up on, is this sign, or is this what I need to do to get to here, or am I being led here to go to get to this manifestation, or should I be doing this, or did I miss this sign, or all of that, because that's what we all get caught up in. And I promise you that you will not miss any sign if you are just allowing yourself to flow, and you're living from your heart space, and you are just allowing yourself to go with the flow and follow your urges. You will not miss the opportunity or the route they're telling you to go. You will 100% get there. So after you've done all that, follow your urges, follow your feelings,
understand that life now is all about that manifestation. It is, you're being directed towards that, and your life, all of your energy has already honed in on that, and you are just bringing it closer and closer with each little decision, each little thing that you do, and it's all for that manifestation. But you're not going to get fixated on it. Follow any signs that you're given, and just allow yourself to pay attention to everything that happens in the day, without being fixated on, am I missing where I'm actually being led. So lastly, doing any healing that comes up is important. If you're wanting to manifest something and then all of a sudden it's being brought to your attention that you have this limited belief about this, or you are always going through this cycle, well, that is the universe saying, hey, you need to look at this before you go any more forward. So allow yourself to work through that, and then you'll be so surprised at how much faster those manifestations happen. All right, so that's where I'm at with manifestation. I'm going to give everyone a second, if you need it, to ask me any questions. Does anybody have any questions about the manifestation part? And I'm going to get a drink real quick. All right.
I think I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out.
Organize that question. You got it.
Right. When you were talking about, you manifesting the realty, the realtor stuff, and it kept failing.
Mm-hmm.
And why again was that?
It was because I was pushing.
You were pushing too much energy.
Too much energy.
How do you determine when things start to not go that route, that it's you pushing too much energy, or this isn't for you, or there was something else? How do you know, it's something you need to heal? How do you know?
That's a great question.
This keeps failing, which of these three is it? Or 4 or 5?
Yeah. No, that's an amazing question, and I appreciate you bringing that up. So basically, let's just use, I got to figure out a way to give an example to help understand, but let's just try to use my real estate as an example, I guess. So since I was pushing, all the deals fell through. So actually, let's backwards a little bit. I had a bunch of deals. Everything was going great. And then I switched things and I started going forward, or I started pushing forward, and then things started to fall apart. So for me in that instance, it tells me that I was in my flow state. Then I started to push my energy too hard and tried to go too hard. And that is what brought my, or tore it all down. But the final topper to that was when I said, you know what, I give up, I release, and I'm done. And then all kinds of people started reaching out to me, asking me to help them buy a house. That was showing me, because there was like this tug of war going on with my energy. It was showing me, hey, everything was going good. This is what's meant for you, but you pushed too hard. And then you chilled out, and everything started coming back again. So it's all about really, it's all about trying to find what feels right. And also I want to say my money situation. So that one's different. I didn't, there wasn't no pull or push that was going on there. I was like, I want to manifest money, more money. And when I did that, I was brought to a YouTube video that was talking about, it literally, the title was like, are your past lives hampering your ability to get money or something like that? And I was like, huh. But what always happens is I was like, huh, and then I would scroll down and not click on it. But in my mind, I would feel like, man, I really needed to click on that video. And I'm like, ugh. All right, and I would scroll back up and click on the video. And that took me to the past lives. I did it, and I was like, great, money problems got a little bit better, but it wasn't all the way better. And I was like, well, I didn't solve them. And I was like, I want to work on my money problems. I want to fix this. I want to have an abundance of money. And that's when another YouTube video, actually by the same person, just released that day. And it was about just healing your inner child. And I seen it, and I was like, and I kept scrolling, and it was that thought of I need to watch that video. So I went back up, clicked on the video, and then when I went into my inner child, I actually had no clue that it was about the money. I forgot all about the fact that I was going through this wanting to figure out the money thing. And then when my inner child showed me all these visions of my mom saying we didn't have enough money, and I sent healing to that, my inner child was like, that was why you don't have enough money. So obviously there's some people that can't go in and see their inner child and all that stuff, which you can, you just haven't realized it yet. But it's but that was the journey that I took with that. So I guess I would say the universe is going to send you down whatever journey you need to go down. So when you find so if you're like, you're doing this, and then you're like, I think I want to do this, and then you immediately hit a roadblock, like if you're like, I want to manifest this, and then you're immediately hitting roadblocks, it's either because you're pushing too hard. So I would say, sit back and say, all right, I'm going to let it unfold, and then if nothing unfolds there, then I would say it's not meant for you to go down that route. Maybe looking, you obviously were drawn that way for a reason, so look at why you were drawn that way, and you would just say, why was I drawn this way? Show me why I was drawn to this, and you'll be shown. And because if you hit a roadblock, and then you aren't, no healing stuff's coming up, you're not being led to doing any healing or anything, then you're going to go to either you're pushing too hard or it's not meant for you, basically. And that comes into when you manifest it, paying attention to everything that's going on. Because if you're not, you might not see or hear the person talking about how they did inner work the other day, and then you might not realize that the video that you just scrolled past is talking about inner work, and your intuition is telling you should watch the inner work video, like just that kind of thing. So, or even like a workshop, you see someone's workshop around, and you're like, that sounds kind of cool, but then it keeps weighing on your mind, you're like, maybe I should. Well, that's telling you that there's something there that you need to go with. And this is kind of on the same topic, but if I have something that comes up when I'm like in my life, it says like, or I feel like I need to go do this, and then I will always say, I acknowledge it and bring it back to me if it's really something that I'm meant to do. And if that comes back to me, I know that it's something that I'm meant to do. And there's sometimes where it's like, I don't know, I feel like I don't feel like that's necessarily where it should go logically, but if it's meant to me, bring it back to me. And then they do. And I'm like, all right, well, if it's meant to me, I'm going to send it away. If it's meant to me, bring it back another time. And then it does. And it just keeps smacking me in the face until I either say, no, I don't want that, or okay, I'm going to go that route. And then things unfold and whatever. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic or off subject a little bit. Did I answer your question a little bit though?
You did.
Okay.
Basically, you told me things that you said in there. It may not look like you visualized. You have to stay open to it, open to whatever, and it will lead you to where you need to go. And that may be healing, or that may be back off, or that may be whatever. Just be open to the signs, what you're feeling, and it will lead you to whatever it is. Because you were led to figure out what each scenario was the problem. You had to keep kind of asking questions, and you had to just kind of look for signs and just be open. So you did.
And in the same breath, I wasn't like, how do I fix this? How do I do this? It was like, I'm open.
Right.
And honestly, when we learn that that life is just this big flow of us just flowing, everything seems, my nose is itching so bad, everything seems so dense and so physical, but like we're really just waving around, and we're just like the current in the ocean. We're shifting here, going there, and we're going wherever the heck we need to go. And when we realize that our life is literally just a big flow, and we start to allow ourselves to go into this flow state, life just gets so easy. But we have to get to a point where we're like, I'm going to just allow myself to flow and go with it. I have a student who took a class, and she was like very, very advanced in a lot of stuff. but just starting out. Like, actually, she brought her boyfriend here to have a session done as a surprise for his birthday. And while she was here, she thought I might as well do it or whatever. But she ended up opening up and awakening in a huge way, not a like crazy way, a great way. And then she took Reiki, and then she took my chakra binding course, and now we're friends. And like, she has opened up so much. But what I was trying to remember why I even brought her up. The reason I brought that up is because she has found this ability to go into this flow state, unlike anybody new that I've ever really seen, and it's just amazing seeing it. But it also is it's teaching me as well different ways that people can go into their flow state. But she is like, she had a career and had another career. She had 2 careers, and then now she's in school for something else that she felt led to do, and then that schooling is leading tons of people to her for healing and it's just like watching her flow into that is just a big reminder of how we need to just flow, and you need to be open to everything. And that means you're 6 years into your degree and you're feeling like you're led to go do something completely different. That's a hard damn decision to make. I mean, there's a lot of money, a lot of time, I might as well just go the next 2 years to finish it. There's a lot of all that, but the universe doesn't give a crap, and neither does your soul, and neither does anything, because you're led to something else. Now, a lot of people stick that out and then hate their jobs for the rest of their lives, but they have a lot of money. They haven't seen their kid in 6 weeks, but they have a ton of money, and they haven't got to go out on the beach and relax or what. So it's like you have to listen to those uncomfortable or hard urges. And once you fall into that energy language and that flow state, you will just flow, and end up in amazing spaces. And even when you're in a space where you're like, this sucks, it's okay, because you know it's happening for a reason, and you're learning what you need to learn, and you're going to get to exactly where you need to go. So it's, yeah. Any other questions? We do need to move forward, though. So, all right. Cool. So we're going to go into healing traumas within ourselves. And it kind of just goes into the initiating inner healing and all that stuff as well. All right. Let me see where I am at. All right. So I want to talk about, firstly, what it looks like when we are being led to work on something. Not necessarily, let's get out of manifesting mode right now, and let's just say that we're just living our lives. We haven't manifested anything. I mean, we could have, but we're just going to say we haven't. We're just living our lives. I want to talk about how our traumas, our cycles, our blockages, all of that come into our lives and show us that it's something that we need to work on. So we see a lot of cycles of that we may have learned from a parent or something, where the parent, they ended up getting divorced or something, and then they had men or women in and out of their lives their whole life, and then we grow up, and then we have men or women in and out of our lives, and we can't figure out why we have men or women in and out of our lives so much. And what ends up happening is when you start, you're not going to figure out anything until you take time to dive into your energy and into your spiritual path. Once you do so, you say, all right, I'm realizing that I have this pattern of bringing crappy guys into my life. I bring them in, or crappy women. I bring them in, everything works out for a few weeks or a few months, and then all of a sudden things take a turn and I lose interest and I send them on their way. So you would want to say, all right, I'm seeing this now. So why, or what do I need to do to heal this or fix this? And sometimes just realizing that it was passed down from a parent or from a friend's mom or whatever it is, you just acknowledging that sometimes can bring healing to that cycle and stop it. But when it comes to cycles, they are deeply embedded and energetic memory is strong within them. So when we say, I see this cycle, I'm going to break it, I'm going to cut it off, and I no longer associate with that, and this is my new truth. You have to crap, I lost my train of thought. With the cycles, and you say, I'm going to cut them off, and this is where I'm at with it. You need to, there it is. So you need to stay true to that. So that cycle is going to be brought right back up to you again, because the universe is saying, well, this is what you've always wanted. I don't know if, you're telling me now this is what you want, but this is what you've always had. And then that guy comes in, or woman, and you are like, all right, finally I'm going to be in a good relationship because I cut ties with that cycle and everything's going to be great. And then you start seeing the same exact red flags that you've seen before. But in the past, you would stay around for 2 years and you would be in a crappy relationship, and then you would end up just leaving them and then get the next one or whatever. But now you notice that cycle starting again. Now you have your choice at this point. Do you stay there and do the same thing over again, or do you make that hard decision and say, you know what, I'm not going down that road again, and I'm breaking the cycle like I already chose to do, and then you get rid of that relationship. Then the universe says, oh, hold on, they seem kind of serious about this, and it seems like they aren't wanting this anymore, and you might be given another one, but you start nipping it in the bud so much faster, and you're able to end that. And what ends up happening is then that cycle has ended, and you find that you are bringing in an amazing person, or you're bringing in absolutely no one, and you realize that you need to work on yourself, and you don't need any person in your life right now. But anyway, I'm getting kind of off topic of what I was talking about, but that's kind of how it works. But what it looks like when we have a limited belief that, or a blockage or a trauma that's poking its head at us, is we tap into our spiritual journey, and then we do start to notice the little things. Like you start to notice, man, I don't have a lot of money. Like I go through money all the time. Well, when you notice that, that's your cue that there is an issue there, and then you kind of go in and you'll ask yourself, what is the issue? Why do I not have any money? And if you need assistance with that, I'm always here, or any other practitioner or any other person is here to help you with that. But that's kind of how it looks when you have these cycles, these traumas, and all of that stuff that's going on. You take note and you notice them going on in your life. You notice that you don't feel worthy, or you notice that you don't feel like you're able to do the things that you are trying to do, and just things like that. It comes up to you, and you can take care of it and heal it. All right. Let's see. So when you notice that, you will then... Okay, so I'm actually going through the steps here. Sorry, it's been like 6 months since I've taught this, or longer. All right, so we're going through the steps of that. So we've saw our cycle of what we have going on. So we have this cycle, and then we allow ourselves to sit quietly, and we move into that trauma, that blockage, that cycle, or whatever it is. We move into that, and when we move into that, we are moving into that from our higher self, from our higher knowledge, our wisdom. We're moving into it from that space, because we're so much more wise than we were when we developed that trauma or that blockage or that limited belief or cycle or whatever. So we go into that situation. So just to give the example, when I went into my inner child, and he put up the vision of my mom telling me that we don't have enough money, and then told me, then I realized this is why I don't have enough money. So what I did is, with my higher self and my inner child there, I sent healing to all of those times that my mind, and by healing I sent light, bright white light, into this big square of thousands of times that my mom told me we didn't have enough money. And I sent that light into that, and I said, I now heal this. I send it away to be healed with love and light. And that was enough. That's enough to heal it. But if you have a trauma, like someone did something to you or something, and you go back into this trauma, you're going back in a much higher form, and you're going to look at it in a third-person perspective. You're going to look at it from you're going to see you, you're going to see the person or the people, and you're going to you're going to allow yourself to try to see it from a higher perspective, and that means trying to understand, why did this person do what they did to me? So if it's like a bully or someone that beats you up in school or something, you have to look at, why did this person do that to me? And in your higher wisdom self, you might realize, or you might understand, that this person did that because they were trying to look cool in front of everyone else in school, and their parents at home didn't give them any attention, and they aren't necessarily the cool kids, and they're trying to look cool or whatever. And you would look at that and try to understand it from their side, not to where you're saying it's okay to do what you did, but saying, I understand why you did it. Wasn't cool, wasn't okay, but I understand why you did it, and I'm going to send you some healing in this time to do with whatever you need to do with, because you obviously need some healing, I guess. So then you would look at yourself, and you can look at yourself on, why did I allow it to happen? You might have guilt, or you might have, why didn't I fight back, or why whatever. You have all this whatever is in there. Or look at this victim that was here. Look at this person that was just a punching bag for this person, whatever. You would look at yourself, and you would just send that your younger self love and healing and support, and let that self know that you are okay, you are worthy, and you did what you thought was best in that situation, and you can't look back on that. You can't be attached to that, and you just send that love and that healing to that. And that right there will bring healing to that situation, and then you fill that whole scenario with bright white light, and then you just send it off to be healed with love and light. Now, what that does, it doesn't get rid of that thought in your head. It doesn't get rid of that memory. It doesn't get rid of any of that. But it does get rid of the emotions that are tied to it. Now, once you heal, you go and you heal that, immediately you're going to feel things differently with that situation. But there may still be emotions there, and what's going to happen over the next week or two, you're going to purge those emotions. So you may be a little bit more emotional in a sad way, or in an anger way, or whatever. And if you're angry, hit your pillow, hit your bed, get a punching bag, yell in your house by yourself. Try to release that anger. If you're sad, cry. Just sit there and cry as much as you want, and everything in between. Allow yourself to feel those emotions, and they will be gone, and you will no longer have those emotions when you think about that situation. So just understand that. Alright, so where am I at? Alright, so I kind of jumped the gun on that, but touching on it since it's in order, or reiterating it, feel your emotions. Allow yourself to feel your emotions in those scenarios, or the emotions tied to the cycles, the emotions tied to the limited beliefs. Allow yourself to feel, because that energy is just held within your body, and you have to allow yourself to just feel them. And when you do, that emotion is gone and it goes away. There was an instance recently where my son was so my son does MMA, and he was practicing, and the little guy that was with him, he's in the 6 to 8 year old category, and he just turned 6 in April, so he's like the littler guy of the thing. But he was practicing with one of the kids, and this kid was just being extremely aggressive. They're teammates. You're supposed to go sort of hard, but not like as hard as you can. And this kid was like going to kicking my son as hard as he could in his legs, and like purposefully trying to hurt him. And like he was smirking. It was just like not a good situation. So I felt a ton of anger within myself, and at that moment I was caught up in everything that I didn't release it the way that I usually do. I was kind of like watching and kind of like trying to send my son this courage, and he found this courage, and he ended up hitting the kid back and doing the stuff that he needed to do, and it was like whatever, longer story that I'm just trying to make real short. But I was on my way here for my sound bath on Friday, and I was I was feeling that anger and I couldn't get my energy out of that situation. And I was like, man, I got to get rid of this because I'm coming to do the sound bath. So what I did is I allowed myself to feel that anger. And what I realized in that moment is, or I guess was reminded of, because I'm really good at just releasing things and letting things flow. I don't get things held up in my energy too often, but I did. And when I released it, feeling that anger felt different than the anger that I felt. And that's might not make much sense, but the anger I felt was there and it felt like the anger. But when I allowed myself to feel the anger or that energy of the anger, it was like a burning in my chest that went down through my stomach and out of my tailbone or my root chakra, and it was released. But like that's what I felt when I allowed myself to feel it. I took the breath and I allowed myself to surrender to that anger, and I felt that burning right in the middle of my chest, and then it went down and dispersed out of my energy field. And I didn't think about that kid another second after that, and I didn't have any emotions towards it anymore. Thinking back on it, I have zero emotions. So that's just an example of how releasing your emotions help. And it can take a little bit of practice, because you may say, oh, I'm feeling angry, I'm going to allow myself to feel it. And you try, and you think you let yourself feel it, and it might not have been as fully as you needed to feel it. But it's a start, and you need to just practice it, because it will change your life if you learn how to release emotions. Because you will not, like your coworker called you ugly today or something. Well, that's lingering in your mind. You're mad about it, but you'll be able to breathe and release that out, and you won't feel those emotions. The situation still happen, but you're not going to have those emotional ties to it. So just try to remember that. All right. Where in the heck am I at? All right, forgiving yourself and anyone else you feel ready to forgive. Now, I'm not like the guy that's like, you need to forgive everyone for everything they've ever done to you, because I get caught up on forgiveness. Like, what is forgiveness? And are we giving them a pass? Or like, so for example, let's just say someone did something mean to me, or something terrible to me, and I don't think we necessarily need to go back and forgive them for doing that, but I do think we need to go back and maybe understand why they may have done it, and release those emotions that are tied to that, and say, I understand why you did it, and you may say, I forgive that you did it, but you're still a piece of shit, and I don't like you and whatever. But you don't hold those emotions in there. You just say, like, they are a crappy person and they did some terrible things, but I'm no longer tied to that, and just move forward. But you do always need to forgive yourself for anything that's ever happened, and any emotions or anything that you have tied to within yourself. So just remember that it is important to forgive yourself. All right, so all right. When we're in a trauma, or when we're in a blockage, or when we're in a limited belief or whatever, sometimes we block things out, and that's why when we are in that situation, when we are bringing up that situation, and we're visualizing it, or we're healing it, or whatever we want to call it, it's important to take your time when you're in there and allow yourself to sit in that uncomfortable situation until you breathe through it and it feels not comfortable, but it feels not terrible. And then you go through and you heal the stuff. But it is important to understand that some things are blocked out or suppressed really far down. It takes a little bit more time for you to be able to tap into that, so it's okay to stay in there for a little bit and explore that situation. And then the obvious, find support if you need it, and it could take several times to go back and heal a full situation. And what I mean by support is me, or a friend, that you can actually trust, or a loved one, or whatever. Find some sort of support if you need it when you're going through this healing process, because it can be very hard. There's so many people that have taken courses of mine, or have been a client where we're doing energy healings or whatever, and they'll just reach out and say, hey, look, I just realized that I have a lot going on with my inner child, and I was going back doing some inner child work, and I just need a little bit of support when it comes to this. I need a little bit of help or advice on how to work through this, or I have this crippling fear that's coming up, and how can I get through it. It's just important to understand all of that and be able to move through it. So talking that out and finding support for that is very important, instead of just holding it in. You can use Archangel Michael to help you out. He is very, very good with helping with those kind of things like traumas and blockages and all that. Archangel Raphael, also amazing. And your higher self. I use my higher self. In every single thing that I go back on and do. So if it's a past life, my higher self's hanging out right with me. If it's a trauma, same thing. If it's a limited belief, whatever, my higher self is always there. Even when I was talking with my inner child, my higher self was hanging out with me there. I always use my higher self because he brings a very wise and higher perspective to things. Alright, so if we're going about our lives and we're hold on one second. Alright, so if we're going about our lives and we're like, everything's great. Not everything's great. We're just living our lives. Let's just say we're just living our lives. Everything could be great, it could not be great. But then one day you're like, man, I feel like I want to do some inner work, and I'm going to try to see if I have any traumas or any blockages or anything along those lines. I want you to voice to your guides or the universe, God, basically that you are wanting to see. You're wanting to take care of any traumas, any blockages, any limited beliefs that can help better your life at this time. There was one period of my life, it was like a few years ago, where I was thinking, and I was just like, actually no, I was talking to someone, and they were like, I just feel like you don't have any trauma or any shadow work that you need to work on. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe, I don't know. And then I was like, there's no way that, because I haven't had a ton that I've had to work on. And I was like, there's just no way. So I voiced to my guides, I was like, I ask you to show me any shadow work or any traumas, blockages, or anything like that I need to work on. And I'm trying to think what happened. So a few weeks go past, and then all of a sudden, every time I pick up a contract to do real estate, I am getting like unbelievably stressed out for no reason. And I would just pick it up, start it, and just get stressed out. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, why? And I couldn't understand why I was getting so stressed out all of a sudden. But then I realized that then I remembered that I asked my guides to bring up any shadow work or traumas or anything, limited beliefs, all that stuff that I needed to work on. So I realized that there was a lot of like attachment going on with the deal, and it was also tied. It wasn't like causing me to not have money, but it was tied to the money, the financial aspect of real estate, and I needed to detach from that and all that. But what I'm getting at is, if you ask your guides to show you any shadow work, any traumas, anything like that, they will. So don't forget that you asked them, because I tend to ask my guides things and then forget. And then weeks later, I'm like, why is all this stuff happening? And then I realize it's because I asked for it. All right, so you ask it, and it will start to be brought up to you in life. And then you go and you heal it in the ways that we just talked about earlier. So if you want to work on trauma, ask your guides, ask the universe, and it will be brought up to you, and do the work that needs to be done, and you will be making progress. Because when we heal any of these traumas or blockages or limited beliefs, it is opening up our energy, and it is opening up our pathway, and we are progressing further and further towards our divine path. So don't ever underestimate going back and healing something. I remember when I did my inner child thing, I was like, oh my gosh, that was an amazing experience, but it was so easy, it was nothing, I just did it. And I didn't expect it to work as fast and as good as it actually did. And so don't underestimate the little things that you're doing to heal in life, because they do a ton for you. All right, there's also a tapping method. And I know not a lot about this, but I do mention it because it is very, very useful. You can look it up on Google, YouTube, and just like tapping method for trauma or something. And there's different tapping locations that they use, and this method is like very, very. It's very widely used, and there's a story of like there was a lady that was her child was actually murdered in a school shooting, a mass school shooting, one of the big ones that happened, and she was so distraught and so detached and so like not okay that they brought in this guy that does tapping, and he did tapping with her, and within like a day she was like to where she forgave the shooter. She was okay with everything that happened, and not, you're never going to be okay, but like she was like mentally okay. And that's what caused me to look into tapping, basically. So anyway, again, I don't know a ton about it, but look into it if you want, and it can help unblock traumas and blockages in the body. And then lastly, therapy is really, really good for getting to know what traumas and blockages you have and releasing them, but you do still need to go back and heal them. Alright, so let me look at where I'm at really quick. Alright, so how do you initiate inner healing? Alright, so I guess I would touch into like I want to touch a little bit into like past lives. So if you are ever wanting, like if you ever have something that is like an irrational fear, or there's like a something that always comes up and you cannot trace it back in this lifetime, like in your childhood or in your adult time or whatever, most likely it's something to do with a past life. So I just want to talk about that a little bit to help you understand how you can go into a past life and heal. So there are a few different ways. One of them is doing a past life regression. So you go to someone that knows how to do a past life regression, you go back into a timeline or into your past life, and you will you can either have an intent of, I want to go into this past life to heal my cigarette addiction or whatever it may be. Or you can say, I want to go into a past life to heal and see whatever is hampering me in this life. And that's one of the most common ones. And you'll come in, you'll go into your past life, and you will be brought to something that's hampering you in this life. And I mean, we can just, a very simple example, we can say you went into a past life and you were someone who was talked down to all the time and told that you're nothing and whatever, and then now in this life you feel like you're not worthy, or that you're nothing, or that you're not able to be in a leadership role or whatever, because you were always being talked down to and you were always just a peasant and not in a leadership position. That's just a very simple example, but you heal that, you do some work around that in that space, and then you send it off, and then you start to find yourself feeling worthy, and you start to feel yourself being able to do things that you never could do before. So the other ways is to go into meditation. So you go into a meditative state and you say to yourself, I want to go back into a past life. And then you allow your imagination to go wherever it goes. Now, this is sometimes hard for some people, but this is a way that you can do it. So you do that, and you allow yourself to go back into this past life. And when you do, you're standing in this past life. You can start at looking at your feet and seeing what you're wearing, and then bringing your attention up, seeing your hands. Are you a male or you're female? What are you wearing? And then you just play it out, and you just start to look around, and you're like, okay, what time frame is this? Where am I even at? And oh, there's a house there. I feel like I need to go into the house. You go into the house, and all of a sudden there's kids and a husband or a wife there. And then you look at some pictures, and you realize that it's pictures of you. And then things start to play out. You see that you developed an addiction problem, and then you lost your whole family. I don't know, whatever ends up happening, and that relates to you in this life in one way or another, and you'll figure it all out. And if you need any help, I'm always here. But that is kind of the gist of how we go into a past life. The other way is writing, and you can write down one thing in a past life that is affecting me now in this life is, and then you just start writing. And you can start by writing, I'm going to tell myself, or I'm going to tap into my past life and tell my present self that, and then you can go on from there or whatever. But you can do that a few times to try to, if you say I'm tapping into my past life to bring forward something that that is affecting my life now, and that is, and you hit a blank, then just write that again, or read that over again, what you already have written, read that over again, and then eventually it's going to pop into your head. But you have to be free-flowing, and you have to allow it to just happen. So you have to, even if you say one thing that's affecting me in my past life, or affecting me in my present life that happened in a past life, is I was swimming in a lake, and it just seems weird that you're even saying that, but just go with it. And it may seem like you're writing a fantasy story, but I promise you're not, and just allow yourself to go with it and roll with it. That's one other way to tap into it. But at the end of the day, the surefire way to tap into it is to do a past life regression. That's the easiest, and because you're with a trained person that knows how to help you tap into a past life. All right, so let me see. Other things to understand is that our traumas, our cycles, our limited beliefs can be ancestral. So it can be things from like our great-great-grandpa or grandma that we have no clue about, that's being held in our energy. 9 times out of 10, you're going to see that in your mom or your dad, or you're going to see it in your brothers or your sisters or whatever. But sometimes it is ancestral, and the way that you heal that is it's kind of almost as if going into a past life, but you end up going back and seeing your ancestor and what they went through or whatever. And there's other ways of recalling it, such as writing again, and calling upon that ancestor to heal this energy and this cycle. But again, sometimes, most of the time, just acknowledging that this trauma or this cycle is ancestral, or it could be ancestral. It'll open up the world for you to be able to see if it's ancestral, or it can sometimes just heal it that it is ancestral. But that's what we're here for right now. All of us in this life, we are breaking ancestral cycles and limited beliefs and all of that negative, terrible stuff that has been learned for a long time. It can also be learned behavior that you've learned over your lifetime, and we just have to ask ourselves, where did this trauma come from? We take ourselves back to the earliest moment of when you felt that way, and then you move on from there. All right, so I guess just a couple more things, and I would say that one of the more important ones is understanding that you have the power to change. You have the power to change your energy. You have the power to bring yourself to power, and you have the power to be able to accomplish anything you want to in this life. So just understanding that when you're looking at these cycles, traumas, and beliefs and all that stuff, understanding that you are in charge. You are God. You are the universe. You are one with everything. You are your past. You are your present. You are your future. Allow yourself to tap into that and be powerful and change that. And then finding the root of the problem, which I already mentioned, that's the main thing you want to do. Other than that, calling upon your spirit guides, archangels, and asking them to help you with these situations or with your traumas and everything is a really good way to do that as well. And also energy healing. I don't want to leave that out because it is something I do every day. But energy healing is so beneficial when it comes to removing traumas and blockages and limited beliefs. But it doesn't happen with every single session. So one session you may come in and you may not have any traumas that came up or any limited beliefs or anything. But then the next session you may be getting rid of all kinds of traumas. There's so many random things that I see during a session and release from people that are just so validated. Like I'll say just a certain something, I'm seeing this within your chakra, and they're like, oh my gosh, like I used to do that as a child and that was a big issue and whatever, and it's being released. So you're able to release it, you're able to process that and so on. So I just want to throw that in there because I do truly believe that is one way to do it. So one exercise that you can do when you go home, we're not going to do it today, but is if you want to try to identify any kind of traumas or blockages within your body, you can write down that basically you can make some slots and you can say to yourself, I want to bring forward any blockages or any traumas that I need to work on. And you can go like one by one. You can go, I want to write down 3 traumas that I have stored within myself. And you can write that down and it'll come to you. And then 3 cycles, then 3 limited beliefs. And then you can ask, what do I need to do to fix or to heal these? And then you can write down the answers to that. So you can have this trauma here. What do I do to heal it? And you can do and write what you feel you need to do to heal it. And then that can kind of initiate that process as well. If you're not a very visual person or not a big feeler or whatever, writing that stuff down is super beneficial. So anyway, that is when it comes to our healing journey, when it comes to our manifesting journey, when it comes to our journey in life, all we're really doing is just experiencing life, and we are also I don't want to say messed up because we're not messed up, but we're all tainted in different ways, and that can be from something that happened to us in childhood, or it can be from an ancestral thing that's been passed down through our DNA, or it can be from conditioning that happened in school, or it can be from my camera just it can be from anything basically. So now I gotta reestablish what I was thinking. Yes, so our it can be brought up by a number of different things, and it's just important for us to. I totally lost my train of thought, so I'm sorry, but it's important for us to work on it, because as we work on ourselves and our energy, that's what it is. We're tainted with ancestral things and things that's happened in our lives, and all we're trying to do in this human experience is unblock that energy blockage, because all it is at the end of the day is an energy blockage, and all we're trying to do is unblock that so our energy can flow nicer and better. And right now in this period of time, people are doing a lot of ancestral clearing, so breaking ancestral cycles that have went on for years and years and years, and we're breaking those right now. So there's a lot of important work going on right now. So just understanding that we do have that stuff held within us. We all are just energy, and we all are just trying to flow and do our best in life. Allow yourself to flow, allow yourself to heal where you feel like you need to heal. Take some classes somewhere if you feel like you need to take some classes. YouTube's a great teacher for a lot of different things, so feel free to go onto YouTube and look some stuff up. But I think that is all that I have to say about all of that. So I would open it up to all of you all. Do you have any questions about any of the stuff, manifesting or healing trauma or any of that kind of stuff?